Spencer,
Yes.
9th Earl Spencer, born on May the 20th, 1964. Got that bit right.
Yes.
Now see how good your memory is. I want to know,
The phone call happens before the wedding, before the dress, before the cameras, before the world picks a side. According to royal biographers, Charles Spencer, the 9th Earl Spencer, Diana's brother, picks up the phone and delivers a warning to Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex: slow down, do not rush. Harry does not take it well. That reported conversation becomes one of the most analysed moments in modern royal history. Not because of what Earl Spencer allegedly says, because of what happens after. The warning does not stop the wedding. It does not prevent the departure, the interviews, or the transatlantic fallout that reshapes the British monarchy. What it does, according to royal commentators, is draw a line between those who see caution as love and those who see it as control. That line cuts through every relationship Prince Harry has left. One alleged phone call, 2 royal households fractured, a media war that shows no sign of ending. A question that no palace statement, no biography, and no interview has answered. Was Charles Spencer trying to protect his nephew, or did he light the match that helped burn everything down? Hi viewers, if someone in your family warned you about a major life decision, would you listen, or would you feel betrayed? Drop your answer in the comments. Here is where the story splits. Earl Spencer does not confirm the conversation publicly. He does not deny it either. The account comes primarily from Tom Bower's published biography and second-hand reporting across the British press. No recording exists, no written statement, no official Spencer family response. The silence does not kill the story, it feeds it. Royal experts take the reported warning and build entire arguments around it. Some call it proof that doubts about Meghan Markle, now the Duchess of Sussex, existed inside Diana's own family before the wedding. Others argue the warning had nothing to do with Meghan personally. It was about timing, about speed, about a prince making a permanent decision in what some considered a temporary emotional state. 2 interpretations, same alleged conversation, completely different verdicts. Prince William, Prince of Wales, reportedly shares similar concerns about the pace. That detail shifts the weight. A brother's caution can be dismissed as rivalry, but an uncle's caution, especially one who carried Diana's coffin and delivered the eulogy the world still remembers, carries a weight that is far harder to dismiss. The public hears none of this in real time. The engagement is announced, millions celebrate, but the warning does not disappear. And when the fairy tale falls apart, that reported phone call resurfaces with a force nobody anticipates. The question was never whether the warning happened. The question is what it set in motion. The evidence starts with a book. Tom Bower's published biography of Meghan Markle puts the alleged Spencer warning into print and drops it into the centre of the royal conversation. One author, one claim. No direct confirmation from any of the people involved. That is the foundation the entire debate stands on. Royal commentators run with it, tabloids amplify it, television panels dissect it, social media turns it into a verdict. But the prosecution has a problem. The sourcing remains second-hand. No one in the Spencer family steps forward to confirm the accounts on the record. No one in Prince Harry's circle publicly addresses whether the call took place, what was said, or how it ended. The available evidence presents a pattern. Charles Spencer, 9th Earl Spencer, maintains relationships with multiple members of the royal family. He attends public events. He makes statements about press accountability. He does not draw clear battle lines between Harry and the institution. That ambiguity frustrates both sides of the argument. Supporters of the Sussexes want Spencer to confirm that Meghan was unfairly targeted. Critics want him to confirm that he saw problems from the start. Spencer gives neither side what it wants. This is where the case requires a different kind of analysis. Royal biographies operate in a specific space. They combine on-the-record interviews, background sourcing, and editorial interpretation. Tom Bower's work has been both praised for access and criticised for framing. The question for the audience is not whether Bower is credible. The question is whether a single biographical account, without public confirmation, can carry the weight of the conclusions built on top of it. According to British press reports, the story of the warning spreads through the media ecosystem the way most royal stories do. One outlet publishes.
Does, and it's perfect.
What do you think your mother would have thought of Meghan or said about Meghan?
Oh, they'd be thick as thieves. Without question, I think she would be over the moon, jumping up and down, so excited for me. But then, as I said, would have...
Others reference the original. Commentary adds interpretation. By the time the story reaches the public, the layers of sourcing become invisible. The audience hears Earl Spencer warned Harry about Meghan, as if it is an established historical fact. It is not, it is a reported claim. That distinction matters, because the difference between reported and confirmed is the difference between evidence and assumption. And in royal journalism, assumption has a long history of being treated as proof. Now look at the other side of the ledger. What is confirmed? Prince Harry and Meghan Markle meet in 2016. They announced their engagement in November 2017. The timeline moves fast by royal standards. Multiple commentators note this publicly. The concern about speed is not invented. It is documented in real-time press coverage. But concern is not the same as a warning. And a warning is not the same as an accusation. The difference between those three words becomes the foundation of everything that follows. And the person whose name gives that foundation its emotional power is not Charles Spencer, it is his sister. And her story changes everything about how this warning gets interpreted. Diana, Princess of Wales, does not speak from the grave, but in the years following Prince Harry's departure from royal duties, her name speaks louder than almost any living voice in the family. Every argument about Harry, every defence of Meghan, every criticism of the palace, it circles back to Diana. Charles Spencer knows this better than most. He stands at the altar of Westminster Abbey in September 1997 and delivers a eulogy that shakes the monarchy to its foundation. He promises in front of a watching world that Diana's blood family will protect her sons. He looks directly at the institution he holds, responsible for his sister's suffering. The royal family sits in the front pew. Nobody moves. That eulogy is not just a moment. According to royal historians, it becomes a permanent marker in British public life. A promise made in grief that neither time nor politics fully erases. The Spencers position themselves as Diana's true protectors. The Windsors absorb the blow in silence. Now fast forward 2 decades. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, grows into a man shaped by a specific kind of loss. He speaks publicly about the impact of losing his mother at age 12. He describes years of emotional suppression in interviews. He connects his decision to step back from royal life directly to his fear that history is repeating itself, that his wife, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, faces the same media destruction that consumed Diana. Royal commentators have noted the emotional logic at work. Harry does not see caution as protection. He sees caution as a repeat of the same pattern that failed his mother. When Earl Spencer allegedly warns him to slow down, according to published reports, Harry does not hear an uncle offering guidance. He hears the system that let Diana down, telling him to wait, telling him to trust the process. The same process that destroyed the woman he loved most.
That interpretation may not be fair to Spencer, but fairness is not the operating principle here. Grief rewires the way a person receives advice. And Harry's grief is not theoretical. It shapes every major decision he makes. Consider the position Earl Spencer occupies. He is Diana's brother. He made a public vow to protect her children. He also maintains ties with the broader royal establishment. He attends coronation events. He engages with the press on his own terms. He operates in a space between loyalty to his sister's memory and participation in the world she struggled against. That contradiction is not a character flaw. It is the reality of being a Spencer inside a system designed by and for the Windsors. Royal analysts have pointed out that Diana's legacy functions as a double-edged inheritance.
It's incredible how strong and how you've been able to cope, really. And I put that down to your really early years, childhood experience, but also the relationship that you've got. You're amazingly close.
Yeah.
And yes, you
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
For Harry, it is fuel. It justifies every break from tradition. For the institution, it is a reminder that public sympathy can turn against the crown in a single news cycle. Earl Spencer sits between those two forces. His alleged warning lands in that exact gap. Then comes May 2018, Windsor Castle, a royal wedding watched by millions around the globe. And for one brief, golden afternoon, the conflict appears to vanish completely. It does not. May 19th, 2018, Windsor Castle, 600 guests, a global audience estimated at nearly 2 billion viewers. Meghan Markle walks through St. George's Chapel in a Givenchy gown designed by Claire Waite Keller. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, stands at the altar. His eyes are wet, his hands are shaking. The world sees a love story. Royal correspondents call it a turning point. A biracial American woman marries into the most traditional monarchy on earth. Bishop Michael Curry delivers a sermon about the power of love that goes viral within hours. A gospel choir sings. Sunlight breaks through the stained glass of St. George's Chapel and floods the nave. For one afternoon, the narrative writes itself. Progress, acceptance, a new chapter for the House of Windsor. The alleged warning from Earl Spencer fades into irrelevance. Nobody wants to talk about doubt on a day built for celebration. But the prosecutor's job is not to admire the ceremony. The prosecutor's job is to examine what the ceremony delays. According to reports published after the wedding, tensions over protocol, family dynamics, and media strategy are already present before the vows are exchanged. Royal biographers note disagreements about the tiara Meghan wears. Press reports reference friction between Meghan's team and established palace staff. The British tabloids, which cover the wedding with wall-to-wall enthusiasm, begin shifting tone within weeks. This is the contrast that matters. Public celebration and private friction existing in the same room at the same time. The cameras capture one reality. The sources describe another. The audience decides which version they believe. Here is what the public record confirms. After the wedding, Prince Harry and Meghan, now the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, move into Frogmore Cottage on the Windsor estate. Renovation costs, reported at approximately £2.4 million from public funds, become a point of sharp media criticism. The couple undertakes a successful royal tour of Australia and the South Pacific. Meghan's popularity registers high in early polling. Then the coverage shifts. Stories about staff departures surface. Headlines grow sharper. Commentators begin questioning whether Meghan understands royal expectations. The tone moves from curiosity to scrutiny to something far more personal. Prince William, Prince of Wales, and Catherine, Princess of Wales, continue their established roles. The contrast between the two couples becomes a recurring media frame. One couple follows the institutional script. The other appears to be rewriting it in real time. Royal commentators have suggested that the resistance is not personal, it is structural. The monarchy operates on precedent. Deviation from precedent triggers an institutional immune response. And Meghan, by virtue of her background, her career, and her public voice, represents deviation on every front the institution monitors. A wedding can unite two people. It cannot unite two systems that operate on opposing principles. And within months, the question changes completely. It is no longer about whether Meghan fits into royal life. It becomes about what happens when she decides royal life does not fit her.
I need to do this for my family. This is not a surprise to anybody. It's really sad that it's got to this point, but I've got to do something for my own mental health, for my wife's, and for Archie's as well, because I could see.
The case expands beyond one woman in the summer of 2019. What begins as tabloid coverage of a duchess becomes a stress test for one of the oldest institutions on earth. The question is no longer whether Meghan fits in. The question is whether the monarchy can modernize without cracking apart. Prince William, Prince of Wales, carries the weight of that question on every public appearance. He is the future king. Every decision he makes, every relationship he maintains, every protocol he follows reinforces the stability the institution depends on. His path is defined. His role is mapped across decades of planning. His margin for deviation is nearly zero. Prince Harry occupies a completely different position, second-born, further from the throne with each of William's children. The institution needs him to support the structure, not challenge it. But Harry, shaped by his mother's death and his own experience with the British press, begins asking a question the monarchy does not want answered out loud. What is the point of serving an institution that does not protect the people inside it? Royal commentators have noted that this tension is not unique to Harry. The heir and spare dynamic has repeated across generations. The heir receives the training, the resources, the institutional armor. The spare receives a title, a role, and an unspoken expectation to stay in formation. Prince Andrew, Duke of York, struggled with the same position for decades. Princess Margaret carried it before him. The pattern is documented across centuries of British succession planning. What changes with Harry is the willingness to name it, publicly, repeatedly, without apology. Meghan accelerates the confrontation. Her presence forces a conversation the institution has avoided since Diana's death. How does a monarchy built on tradition absorb someone who does not come from that tradition? How does it handle a member who speaks publicly about race, about mental health, about emotional harm inside the family itself? The British press frames these conversations as disruption. Sussex supporters frame them as overdue progress. The palace treats them as a communications problem to be managed. But the reality, according to multiple royal analysts, is structural. The monarchy rewards silence. It rewards patience. It rewards deference to hierarchy. Meghan does not operate by those rules, not out of defiance. Because she comes from a different world with different expectations about voice, visibility, and personal agency. The institution does not adjust. The institution expects adjustment from everyone who enters it. Harry watches the gap between public duty and personal cost widen every month. He watches the headlines sharpen. He watches the protection around his wife thin to almost nothing. Then something shifts. Reports surface in late 2019 that Harry and Meghan are considering a different kind of royal life. A hybrid model, part in, part out. Financial independence paired with continued public service. A structure that has no precedent in modern British monarchy. The palace does not welcome the proposal. And on January 8th, 2020, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex publish a statement on Instagram that transforms a family disagreement into the biggest royal crisis in a generation. Nobody inside the institution acts fast enough to stop it. And what follows makes the alleged warning from Earl Spencer look like the smallest chapter in a much larger story that is only beginning to unfold. January 8th, 2020. The statement drops on Instagram before the palace can respond. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, announced their intention to step back as senior working members of the royal family. They want financial independence.
I guess on top of that as well, probably what people don't know, but that is mentioned in the judgment today, Ravek protect private citizens. You know, I was made a private citizen by the royal household, not by Ravek, by the royal household. I can't be a private citizen. I will never be seen as a private citizen. I will never be treated as a private citizen.
They want to split their time between the United Kingdom and North America. They want to redefine what royal life looks like on their own terms. The palace is caught completely off guard. According to multiple reports published across the British press, senior members of the royal family learn about the announcement at roughly the same time as the general public. No formal consultation, no agreed-upon timeline, no coordinated response from Buckingham Palace. The institution, built on centuries of protocol, watches two of its most visible members go public without permission. Within hours, the reaction begins. Buckingham Palace releases a statement acknowledging the announcement and noting that discussions are at an early stage. The measured language masks what royal correspondents describe as deep frustration across the family. Prince William, Prince of Wales, is reported to be hurt. King Charles III, then Prince of Wales, is said to feel blindsided by the timing and the method. Queen Elizabeth II, according to subsequent reporting, instructs her staff to find a workable resolution quickly and quietly. The resolution comes in the form of the Sandringham Summit, January 13th, 2020. The Queen, Charles, William and Harry meet at the Sandringham estate in Norfolk. Meghan joins by phone from Canada, where she has already relocated with their son, Archie. The outcome is decisive. Harry and Meghan will step back from official royal duties. They will no longer use their HRH titles in an active capacity. They will repay the £2.4 million of public funds spent on Frogmore Cottage renovations. The transition period is set for spring 2020.
The speed of the separation stuns commentators on both sides. What takes most institutions months of negotiation takes the royal family less than a single week of public deliberation. Now return to the alleged warning from Earl Spencer. In the context of a courtship, a phone call cautioning against speed reads as simple family concern. In the context of January 2020, that same reported call takes on completely different weight. Critics reframe it as prophecy. Spencer told Harry this would end badly. They argue across television panels and newspaper columns. He saw what nobody else in the family wanted to acknowledge. But that reframing is constructed on assumption, not verified evidence. The reported warning, according to Bauer's published account, concerned the pace of the relationship. It did not predict a royal departure. It did not forecast institutional crisis. It did not address Meghan's capacity for royal life in the specific terms critics later impose on it. The prosecution objects to the upgrade. Retroactive prophecy is not the same as original intent. A private concern about timing cannot be transformed into a comprehensive indictment of a marriage simply because that marriage later produces conflict. The evidence does not support the leap. The commentary makes the leap anyway. Yet, across tabloids, television studios, and social media feeds, Spencer's alleged words are reshaped to fit a narrative constructed years after those words are reportedly spoken. The warning becomes whatever each side needs it to be. Harry and Meghan leave the United Kingdom. They settle in Montecito, California. They sign deals with Netflix and Spotify, reportedly worth over $100 million combined. The physical distance between Sussex and Windsor stretches from miles into something far more permanent. And then, in March 2021, they sit down with Oprah Winfrey in a garden in California. What comes out of that single conversation does not just damage the royal family's carefully maintained public image, it detonates it. 72 million Americans watched the Oprah interview live. The numbers climb into the hundreds of millions globally within days. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, sit across from Oprah Winfrey and deliver accusations that strike at the core of the monarchy's public identity. Meghan describes experiencing suicidal thoughts while serving as a working royal. She states she sought help through the institution and was told it could not be provided. She references a conversation, which she attributes to a member of the royal family, concerning the potential skin colour of her unborn son, Archie. She does not name the individual. Harry confirms the conversation took place, but declines to identify the person. The palace responds with a 21-word statement. The issues raised, particularly that of race, are concerning. While some recollections may vary, they are taken very seriously. Recollections may vary, 3 words. Royal commentators note that those 3 words accomplish exactly what the institution needs. They acknowledge the claim without confirming it. They question the accuracy without calling anyone a liar. They leave enough room for every possible interpretation while committing to none. The media war that follows is unlike anything the modern monarchy has experienced. Every major news outlet runs competing analyses. Sussex supporters see courage, a woman speaking truth about an institution that nearly destroyed her. Critics see a calculated attack, a couple monetising private family grievances on global television. Neither side gives ground. Neither side has enough verified evidence to end the argument. The result is permanent stalemate dressed as ongoing debate. Now consider Earl Spencer's position in this landscape. According to British press reports, Spencer has publicly supported Harry's battles against the tabloid press. He has spoken about his own family's experience with invasive media coverage dating back to Diana's lifetime. He understands the cost of press hostility better than almost anyone alive. But supporting Harry's press fight is not the same as endorsing every public decision the Sussexes make. And this is where Spencer's reported position refuses to collapse into a simple narrative. He does not appear on television to defend the Oprah interview. He does not issue public statements condemning it. He occupies an uncomfortable middle ground that frustrates anyone looking for clean allegiances. Royal analysts have noted that Spencer's silence on certain matters is itself a form of communication. In a family where every public word is dissected by a global press corps, the decision not to speak can carry as much meaning as the most detailed statement. Harry, meanwhile, continues the offensive. His memoir, published in January 2023, adds further detail to his account of family conflict. Legal battles against British tabloids produce courtroom victories and documented evidence of phone hacking and unlawful information gathering. The press war is no longer theoretical. It is being fought in actual courts with actual judges issuing actual rulings. The surprising part is not that the conflict continues. The surprising part is that Diana's brother, the man who stood at Westminster Abbey and promised to protect her sons, does not fit neatly into either army. He walks a line between the Spencers and the Windsors that neither side fully controls, and the institution he once publicly challenged at his sister's funeral is undergoing its own transformation. A transformation led by a new king, with his own complicated history and his own reasons to rewrite the rules. King Charles III stands at Westminster Abbey on May 6, 2023, and receives the crown. The ceremony is shorter than his mother's coronation 70 years earlier. The guest list is trimmed. The message is deliberate. A slimmed-down monarchy for a modern era. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, attends. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, does not. Harry sits in the third row. Prince William, Prince of Wales, plays a central ceremonial role. The visual contrast between the two brothers is broadcast to an audience of millions and requires no narration. One is positioned at the centre of the institution's future. The other sits among the guests. Royal commentators have analysed King Charles's strategy since his accession in September 2022. The new king inherits an institution under pressure from multiple directions. Public opinion on the monarchy fluctuates. Funding scrutiny increases. The relevance question, once considered disrespectful to raise during Queen Elizabeth's reign, becomes acceptable public conversation. Charles responds with structural adjustments. The working royal family shrinks. Balcony appearances feature fewer faces. The focus narrows to a core group: Charles, Queen Camilla, William, Catherine, Princess of Wales, and a small rotation of supporting royals. The Sussexes are not part of that core, neither is Prince Andrew, Duke of York, whose own public difficulties have removed him from active duties. The question royal analysts raise is not whether Charles is making the right decisions. The question is what those decisions reveal about institutional priorities. A smaller monarchy is easier to manage. Fewer public figures mean fewer opportunities for contradiction, controversy, or deviation from the approved message. Control tightens when the circle shrinks. From a public relations standpoint, this strategy serves a clear purpose. The institution cannot afford another Sussex-level departure playing out in global media. It cannot afford another Oprah interview. It cannot afford the spectacle of a senior royal publicly questioning the family's values on international television. The structural response is prevention through exclusion. Prince William's role in this architecture is central. He is the future. Every piece of institutional planning flows toward his eventual reign. His public image is carefully maintained. His charitable work is strategically aligned with long-term monarchical priorities. His family is presented as stable, committed, and unified. The contrast with Harry is not accidental. According to royal correspondence, it is managed. Every coordinated appearance, every carefully released photograph, every statement from Kensington Palace reinforces the same message. The institution has a future. That future runs through William. Earl Spencer watches from Althorpe, the Spencer family estate. His relationship with the institution remains complex. He attends the coronation. He engages publicly on press reform. He does not position himself as an ally of the palace or an opponent of it. The reported warning he allegedly delivered years ago now exists in a context he could not have predicted: a new king, a fractured brotherhood, a global media war with no ceasefire in sight. The chessboard has changed entirely, and the cost of every move made on that board is about to come due. The cost lands on everyone. Nobody walks away clean. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, gains freedom and loses proximity. He lives in Montecito with Meghan and their 2 children, Archie and Lilibet. He runs Archewell, their foundation. He secures media deals, speaks at global events, and publishes a memoir that sells millions of copies worldwide. By any external measure, he has built an independent life. But, according to multiple reports across the British and American press, the relationship with his brother, Prince William, Prince of Wales, remains fractured. Public appearances together have become rare. Private communication, according to sources cited by royal correspondents, has diminished to near silence. The 2 princes who once walked together behind their mother's coffin now occupy separate continents and separate realities. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, carries a verdict she did not choose. To her supporters, she represents survival. A woman who faced institutional hostility, racial prejudice in the British press, and personal attacks on her character, and chose to leave rather than be consumed. To her critics, she represents disruption. A woman who entered the royal family and fractured it from within. Neither portrait captures the full picture. Both portraits sell. Prince William inherits a different kind of weight. He is the heir to the throne. His public duties increase. His family life faces intense scrutiny. And the absence of his brother from the institutional structure means that every burden William carries, he carries without the person who once shared it. Royal commentators have noted that the loss of a sibling relationship, even when both people are alive, produces a grief that public duty cannot fill. King Charles III governs a monarchy in transition. He navigates a slimmed-down institution. public debates about the crown's relevance, and a personal family rupture that plays out on front pages across the world. His reign begins not with the unity his mother maintained for 7 decades, but with visible fractures that no coronation ceremony can seal. The Spencer family occupies an uncomfortable position in this accounting. Earl Spencer's alleged warning, whether it happened exactly as reported or not, has become permanently attached to the narrative. He is cast as the man who tried to prevent the crisis, or the man whose interference deepened it. The public decides which version they accept based on loyalties they have already chosen. And here is the moral dilemma the prosecutor places before the jury. Was justice served anywhere in this story? Harry sought freedom and found isolation from his family. Meghan sought acceptance and received a permanent public trial. William sought stability and lost his brother. The monarchy sought control and exposed its own rigidity to a watching world. Everyone acted according to their own understanding of duty, love, and survival. And everyone paid a price that no amount of public explanation has been able to reduce. The verdict is not about who was right. The verdict is about what was lost, and whether any of it can ever be recovered. The reported warning cannot tell the full story. One phone call, alleged in one biography, unconfirmed by any of the people involved, cannot explain a royal crisis that spans continents, costs relationships, and reshapes a monarchy. But it reveals something the prosecutor wants the jury to remember. Royal conflicts do not begin with a single conversation. They build across generations. They are shaped by history, by expectation, by public pressure that never lets up, by private fears that never get addressed, and by institutional rules that bend for no one. Earl Spencer's alleged warning was not the cause. It was a symptom, a signal that the collision between personal choice and inherited duty was already in motion before anyone understood how far it would travel. This was never only about Meghan. It was never only about Harry. It was about what happens when individual lives collide with an institution that has survived for 1,000 years by demanding that individuals surrender to the structure. Some people surrender. Some people leave. And the institution continues. Changed, perhaps. Smaller, certainly, but still standing. The final question is not whether the warning was right or wrong. The final question is whether anyone involved had the power to change what was already coming. The evidence, examined without emotion and without loyalty to any side, suggests the answer is no. If this story moved you, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter. Every story shared here is an opportunity to think deeper, see clearer, and understand the forces that shape the lives of the most watched family on Earth. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective matters. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And stay tuned, because the next story is already waiting.